Hello and welcome everyone. It is time for Jim Comics Top Picks for New Comic Book Day this upcoming Wednesday, March 4th, 2020. Man, is the year flying by. We're already into March. That's what happens when you're having fun. And man, oh man, what a time to be collecting. There's been some crazy weeks these last few weeks. And we got another crazy week coming this week. Maybe not quite as hot as the last couple, but there's a couple really good books you're going to want to get this week. So we'll get into that shortly. Thank you to all my subscribers on YouTube and followers on Instagram. I say it every week. Love being part of this community. Appreciate all the comments, tips, and everything. And I got to give a shout out to Cable's Comics. He's one of my Instagram followers, and he was talking to me about a book, which I'll get into at the end of the video. It's kind of an interesting little tidbit. Falls into those DC, Marvel, their little snippets of each other's characters that they've been putting in their books, so we'll get into that shortly. Don't forget about the Key Collector Comics app, free download on the App Store. Jim Comics code gives you a 1 week free trial. Ton of good info on there. It's a great app. I use it all the time. And Nick's got a good thing going there, so don't forget about that. We'll get into what I'm looking at this week. From Aftershock, Join the Future #1. 2 covers for that one. I'm just going to grab cover A myself, but I like Aftershock stuff. They do good quality comics, so I'm going to grab that for sure. One I really suggest you pick up this week from Boom Studios, King of Nowhere #1. 3 covers for this. And I'm not sure if you're aware, you may be or you may not be, but Maxwell Prince, the writer, he's the writer who's behind Ice Cream Man, and that has been a great series. I got a couple copies of cover 1. I got cover B somewhere too, but I can't remember where I put it. But anyways, it's that really wicked melting face kind of thing. But anyways, he's the writer behind Ice Cream Man, which has been a great series. And as you know, it was announced it's going to be on Quibi starting April 6th, so that book's starting to see some heat again. But this King of Nowhere, talking about that, is out this week. 3 covers for that one. Looks like another kind of horror story type of thing. And who knows what's going to happen with that down the road, but I really suggest you pick that one up. That looks really good. I like Maxwell Prince and his writing, what he's done with Ice Cream Man, so if you're a fan of Ice Cream Man, you're probably going to want to pick that one up. That one is going to be one of my picks of the week for sure. From Image, we've got Mercy #1 by Mirka Andolfo, and she's behind Unnatural, which came out a while back. There's a whole bunch of covers for this one. I'll show some of the images on there. It looks like a pretty interesting thing. There's a whole bunch of murders and stuff back in the, I don't know, about 100 years or so ago, type of town, like a mining town or something. So looks like an interesting story. I'm going to grab that one. I don't know which. I'll probably just grab cover A for myself. But like I say, there's a whole bunch of covers. If there's one you like, pick that one up. But Image, again, they're putting out some good stuff too. From Oni Press, we got Dryad #1. 2 covers for this one. And this is done by Kurt Wiebe, who was behind Rat Queens, which came out, I don't know, quite a while ago. That's a great book to get. I showed this one. That's one of the limited variants. That's a great one to get. But anyways, this Dryad #1 is written by Curtis Wiebe. That looks like a really good series too. So there's some really good indie books out this week, man. I'm going to be getting a few of those. Could see some of those getting optioned down the road. So from DC, the one, again, this is one of those ones, if you could only buy one book this week, and I really hope you got Batman on your pull list, because Batman 90 is out this week. I've had a chance to read it, and it's 2 covers, really, cover A, irregular cover A, and then a really nice Matina cover B, the regular cardstock that he's doing for those. This is the first full appearance of the designer, and also his origin story in here. And you'll be, when I say full appearance, he's integral to the story, and he's throughout the full book on multiple pages. That's a first full appearance in my books. But anyways, not start opening that whole can of worms up again. But anyways, this is a book you want to get. If, like I say, if you can only afford one book, this is the one to get. And if you don't have this on your pull list, you're going to have to be at your shop first thing Wednesday morning, or you're not going to be getting it, because already on eBay they're like $50 a book. So in Canada, anyways. So that is one you want to get. Flash #750 is out this week. Another one that I'm not a huge Flash fan, but I do like, I like the Flash. And it's interesting. It's going to be kind of a carry-on of this, the story that ended at the end of Flash Forward, #6, the last issue. Kind of remember how he kind of merged with Dr. Manhattan there and everything. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. So that 750 looks like a decent one to get. I'm not going to buy a ton of cover, go crazy on it. I might get, I'll probably get cover A and maybe one other one, because I think it's a $7 cover price on that one, so it's a little pricier. Justice League Odyssey number 19. 2 covers for this one. This is one I'm on the fence about buying. It's one of these ones I'll flip through to the shop and just see, because it sounds like there may be some new gods showing up, and it looks like Starfire's a herald of Darkseid. Like, I'm not sure if she's been that or not before, but anyways, I'll flip through at the shop, because it sounds like there may be some new dark gods showing up in there. I'm not sure. And another one I'm getting, and I know I've kind of crapped on Tom King with his Batman writing, which I was not a big fan of, but he is really, I mean, I've said it before, he's a good writer. And when he focuses on doing a series, a short series where there's a known beginning and end, and you can see it, kind of like Mr. Miracle, he's really good at that. And this one is Strange Adventures number 1, 3 covers for it. Tom King, he's pairing up with Mitch Gerards again, with Mr. Miracle team, and looks like an interesting story. It's kind of a sci-fi thing set in the future and everything, so it looks really good. And like I say, when there's a beginning, middle, and end, and Tom King is kind of confined to having to write it and not drift off into nothingness like he did with Batman, it looks like it'll be a really good series. He is a good writer, so that one looks good. That's definitely one I'm getting this week. So that's it from DC. From Marvel, got a few from them. Daredevil number 19, man, it's like I've said it every time, it's one of the most underrated series going right now. It's just great. I love Daredevil. Really looking forward to reading. That's going to be one of the first ones to read. 2 covers for that one. Magnificent Miss Marvel number 13. I mentioned this quite a while ago. This is your first appearance of Amulet, a new character showing up in her world, so I'm getting a couple copies of that one for sure. That's going to be a good book to get. Miles Morales number 16. 2 covers for that one. Just getting cover A myself, but I like the way, I want to see Billy Morales is on the cover and everything there. So again, you got Spider-Ham in the crib with her. So we got new Spider-Man Noir series starting. 4 covers for that. 2 A and B are regular price, and then cover C is a 1 for $25, and cover D is a 1 for $50. So if those are something you're interested in, don't expect this to be crazy hot like the last Spider-Man Noir series. I mean, that was the first appearance of Spider-Man Noir, so this one will, it'll be a good read, but unless something new happens there, I don't know, but I'm just going to grab a copy of that one. Spider-Verse number 6 wraps up the Spider-Verse series we got going on right now, just the 1 cover. I definitely grabbed that, because it's funny, they had Spider-Zero in the first issue, and you didn't really see too much. I'm trying to remember if she even showed up in any other issues. I can't honestly remember. So I'm hoping she shows up again in this one, because it looks like we're back to the whole web and everything, and she seems to be kind of key to that. So I'm getting that one for sure. And last one from Marvel is the new Strange Academy number 1, launching this week. Scotty Young is the writer of this, and I really liked his, when Scotty Young did his run on Deadpool not too long ago. That was I like Deadpool, but I'm not reading the new Deadpool series. I don't like it right now. But when he was doing it, it just had a really cool flow to it, and I like the characters he brought in. Maybe Kill Puddle will show up in this. wouldn't that be awesome? But anyways, I don't think he will, but it was just, I love that character. So that's it for books I'm looking at this week. For my covers, I only got a couple that I kind of really liked. Kill Whitey Donovan number 4, cover A. I just like the look of the dog on the cover. That looks pretty cool. Yes, Nick, it looks cool. And then we got Chastity number 4. It's Nodet. I think it's Nodet, you pronounce it that way. Virgin cover. That looks kind of interesting. So not a ton of really smoking hot covers this week. But my picks of the week this week, I've got a few of them. I got King of Nowhere number 1 from Boom Studios. That is one you definitely want to get. Maxwell Prince, like I say, is the writer on that, and he was the writer of Ice Cream Man. That's going to be, that'll probably be a good series, so I'm getting that one for sure. Batman 90, I don't think I need to tell you to get this book. It is the first full appearance of the designer and his origin, so that is going to be a key book. Get that one if you can only afford 1 book this week. Another one from DC is Strange Adventures by Tom King and Mitch Gerards. That looks like a really good one. And like I say, this one kind of reminds me a lot of Mr. Miracle and that whole 12-issue run that he did there. This is going to be a 12-issue run as well, so that looks good. Miss Marvel number 13, you got your first appearance of Amulet showing up. That looks like a really good one. And I had one other, what was the other one I wanted to give a honorable mention? Oh yeah, the honorable mention I wanted to give to Dryad #1 by Curtis Weeb from Oni Press, just because he was behind Rat Queens and everything. That looks like a good one too. So those are my picks this week. I just want to mention, I just talked about Batman 90, you get that book, but just so you're aware, the second print, just like 89 and Hell Arisen 3, a second print has been announced before it even hits the shelves. And I believe the cutoff for that is this coming Monday. So if you want to get that ordered, talk to your shop and get that pre-ordered. I'm sure most shops will be bringing it in, but just in case they're not, talk to them about that. And I mentioned Cable's Comics earlier on Instagram. He's one of my followers on Instagram. He mentioned, I talked the other day about one of my last video about how in Thor #2 you get those kind of glimpses, kind of an homage to Superman and Green Lantern and Batman and Flash and stuff in there. And then in Doomsday Clock #12 you had that little blurb about Secret War and everything else. And he brought up a thing. He says, "Hey Jim, did you happen to read Amazing Spider-Man Daily Bugle 2 that just came out? It just came out on February 26th, like this Wednesday." I said, "No, why? What's going on in there?" And he says, "Well, take a look." So I'm going to put some images on the screen, and it's really funny. I honestly don't think anything's really coming down the pipe with, you know, there's a ton of rumors about DC selling their characters off, which I don't think is going to happen. If anything happens at all, I think possibly we could get a crossover event, which would be really interesting. You know, Marvel and DC have done that before, but I would love to see them do a crossover event where it's something they drop unannounced on a Wednesday, kind of like, remember Die came out and Image Comics dropped that comic. It would be really awesome if they had a limited print run, say of 50,000 or even less than that, 30,000. It dropped so many issues to a comic shop. It was a crossover event, and in that story, okay, Marvel and DC, if you're listening to this would be awesome. One cover only, no second prints, and in that issue there's a new character introduced which crosses over between both DC and Marvel that could be used in DC stories, Marvel DC stories going forward. That, man, could you imagine the crazy hype that would come out of that book? Oh, man, that would be awesome. But anyways, the funny thing that he brought up about this Daily Bugle, there was, if you look in the book, there's all these pages or panels where you've got this moving truck, and the moving truck is called DC Movers. So it's kind of funny that you get, it's not just, it doesn't just pop up in one panel. It's like on several panels in the book. You got this moving truck, and then there's a business card handed down to somebody who's got DC Movers on it. And then later in the book, you see again the DC Movers truck in a couple panels. It's just, I honestly kind of think the writers and the artists are having fun and playing with the whole rumor thing. But who knows? I just thought it was really funny. So thanks, Cable Comics, for. It's kind of like, it reminds me of you know, when you're reading your comics, take a look in the background of the panels. Don't just read the word bubbles and move on. I mean, I know a lot of you don't, but it kind of is like, who doesn't like Where's Waldo? Like looking for stuff in the background. I love doing that when you find something in the background of a panel or something. It's really cool. So anyways, I just thought that was kind of funny. So I'm not saying to run out and buy that book or anything, folks. Don't go buy 10 copies of it. It's just more of a fun thing. So it's kind of cool. Another thing, C2E2 is on this weekend, kind of wrapping up tomorrow. Some more stuff may come out after I do this video, but it's funny. I just talked about Storm Ranger in one of my last, I think it was either my last video or the one before, I don't remember when it was, but at the C2E2 they were really talking about her having a crossover event in Empire, which I mentioned, but also talking about whether the suit's a symbiote or not and everything else, and it really looks like they got plans for Storm Ranger. So like I said in the video, I mentioned all these books. The first appearance, the first print of #10 is a really, I mean, well, there's a whole bunch of good ones, but 10 for sure. 11 is their first full appearance, and then also the second prints, which I showed, are really good, so that's another good one. And then one of the ones I think I want to close, I just showed this on my Instagram today, and by now you may have heard it, but Marvel's announced that the Walking Ghost is going to return to Immortal Hulk in issue 37, so that 36 I think comes out in May, so that means it'll be likely a June release for that, so can't even pre-order that one yet, but once you can, you might want to get on that one, because we all know we've been waiting for Del Fry and Dr. Fry and all that, so I don't know if it's going to be the Walking Ghost Escape from the Mountain, and he's coming he's going to become a villain and one of Hulk's enemies, or what's going to happen. So, but we'll find out. Looks like in issue 37, that looks really good. That's all I got for you, folks. There's some really good books out this week, and like I say, what a time to be collecting, man. There is so much good stuff coming out right now. There are some really key books coming out. That Batman 90, boy, do you want to get that one this week. So take care, everyone. Happy hunting. Stay safe out there. Talk to you later in the week. Bye for now.